All right, well, we should be live now. If you can see, I've started to go crazy because the GPU market is absolutely making me go crazy, which is part of what I want to talk about today, of course, because things, while they have been improving, there has been, a little bit of a slowdown when it comes to the, price improvement on the GPUs. But on top of that, I also want to talk about the 7900 XT. I kind of want to give you guys my expectations on that. By the way, before we get into the stream, the way I do the streams now is, I've been doing this for a little while, but, thank you everyone so much for watching. And the way I do this is if you decide to do a super chat during the stream, that is one way in which you can get access to the Discord. Another way would be to do a Patreon as well. You can go join on Patreon. But in any case, with all that stuff out of the way, I'm first going to start out and just answer a few questions. We'll start with that, and then I'll go into some of the stuff I want to talk about. But hey, here's the good news, guys. We were actually on time this time because I actually pressed go a minute before it started, so I was actually on time. That being said, then the next time around when we do a stream, it's probably going to be about 45 minutes earlier. We're probably going to be talking about, instead of like it's 9:45 for me right now, it'll be 9 o'clock. But in any case, if you're watching right now, and you like these live streams, go ahead and just hit that like button. Let's see if we can go ahead and get to like 100 likes here so we can get into more people's feeds. I know it's a little bit later at night, but people are saying they do like these later at night. So yeah, so I'm okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start answering some questions. Go ahead and start shooting them off, and then we'll get into stuff. All right, so do you like Fortnite? I've never played it. Let's see. There he is. I thought this was a premiere. Let's go. Yeah. What process do you expect for Zen 3D, 7 nanometer, or something else? I'm expecting it'll probably be the same 7 nanometer. By the way, if you hear a bunch of like fireworks going off, I'm sorry for that, but for whatever reason, there's something going on. I can't remember exactly what it is, but yeah, something's going on, and so they're shooting off fireworks, and that's just wonderful. I have no idea why people are shooting off fireworks on July 24th. I think you missed July 4th by 20 days, guys, but it's happening. So what's up from Syracuse, New York? All right, and then we got another one saying, do you think GDDR6 price increase is contributing to the GPU shortage / scalping problem? In a little bit it might be, but I don't think that's the big problem. What do you think will be the new craze in PC parts? Yeah, that's a good question. I was honestly just thinking about it because first it started off, I'm just thinking in general, like people are all crazy about like RGB now. I don't know if that's going to be the case going forward. I feel like we're going to look back and it's going to be like the 80s and we're going to be like, oh, that was so hideous. Why were we doing all that RGB? And so now I'm guessing that we're going to move to like really sleek minimalistic designs, but we'll have to wait and see. By the way, if you guys are watching these live streams, when the end of this year comes around, keep in mind, I will be doing a live stream where I go over some of my predictions that I made last year, and if I got those predictions wrong, I'm going to be eating something spicy, so that'll be something interesting. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and make sure that you're subscribed for that, which, by the way, we're actually starting to close in on 100K, which is a huge milestone. We've got a little ways to go, but we're making good progress. We're already at 72.9K. That's a huge milestone for me to hit over 70. You're so wrong, RGB dreams forever. Are you more of an AMD or Intel person? Honestly, I don't really care either way. For a little bit, I got like just kind of pissed with how stagnant Intel was being, so I was kind of like looking for a reason to try something different. But right now, whoever has the better CPU, I'll go for. Whoever has the best price to performance and best overall performance as well. What graphics card do you need for 3440 by 1440? So for that, it depends on what games you play. If you're talking like AAA games, I would recommend something probably like a 3080 or 6800 XT. If you're talking like competitive games, maybe more like a 70 class. You can maybe even get away with the 60 class. I'd probably say, just to be safe, go for like 70 class. So like 6700 XT, 3060 Ti, 3070, that range minimum. And then, anything greater than that, you'll just get a better experience depending on what games you play. All right, Andrew Nudge says Nudga. I can't really say your last name very well. He says, do you think you can add a air tower cooler on a GTX 1050? You probably can. It might just take a little bit of work, but yeah. Let's see. When will RTX 4000 series came out or predicted? Okay, so that's an interesting one. I'm expecting, like at the very earliest, you're probably talking mid 2022. More realistically, probably late 2022. Unfortunately, I think we are still probably a little over a year out, but we'll see. Let's see. Can you please do your intro again? I missed the start of the stream. I actually didn't do it, but I can do it real quick. Hello and welcome everyone to the stream. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Hey, looks like we're getting closer to 100 likes. If you like this stream, why don't you go ahead and drop a like on it. See if we can get to 100 likes. That would be awesome. See if we can get it in more people's feeds because you know how the YouTube game is. Hi stream, how are you? 11700K is better than 11900K, but definitely go. And if you can't, I don't think I would say that. Maybe better price to performance, but I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about. It's time to do something. Yeah, it's time we did something. I agree. It is time we did something. We'll talk about that in a minute. By the time GPUs get back to normal, do you think next gen will be around the corner? I don't know if around the corner will be the right, way of saying it, but maybe like 6 to 9 months away. Maybe 12 months. We'll see. So like not around the corner, but if you wanted to wait, I would understand. But honestly, I'm still of the mindset of like if you can find something for MSRP that's good, like a 3080 at MSRP $700, I'd just go for that. Koji says, do you have a Discord? Yes, I do. The best way to get access to the Discord, you have a couple options. You can either join on Patreon or you can go ahead and do a super chat during the live stream. Either way, I'll get a hold of you after the stream if you send me a message via Twitter or you send me a message on Patreon or you send me a message in my email. Either way, I'll get you that private link. So that's how that works. All right, Nishant Malik, thank you so much for the 100. I believe this is Indian Ruples. I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's Indian Ruples. But thank you so much for the 100. He says, best intro as always. And again, thank you. And I will get you that private link if you message me after the stream. All right, I'm going to go ahead and actually make this so I can see your guys' comments better in the center if I can. Okay, maybe not. All right, we're just gonna I'll just be looking to the right a little bit every now and then. Okay. Let's see. At a minimum, how long will the GPU shortage last? I don't have an exact answer for that, but I wouldn't expect the shortage to get any better for not any better. I expect it to continue improving, but I don't expect it to like completely alleviate for at least another 2 months. It could be a little longer. I'm hoping 2 to 3 months from now you will see it like completely fix itself, especially if like these GPUs keep just flooding the market from China. It should happen sooner rather than later, but that's something we don't know for sure at this point. All right, then we got another super chat. Coming in from Sifix, thank you so much for the $2. He says, does the 3050 count as a good graphics card? I would consider it a fairly good graphics card these days still. I think a 3050 will do most everything you need at 1080p. I think it'll be perfectly fine, but that's going to be kind of a subjective matter. Some people would consider it not to be. Some people would consider it to be. It depends on what you're doing. Is kind of like anything can be good for the right price and in the right situation. Do you think 6700 XT will drop to MSRP before 3060 Ti? I actually do. I think the 3060 Ti is going to be really hard to get at MSRP for a long time. Would the 3060 Ti be good for 1440p? Yeah, I think it's a great card for 1440p. When do you think the 3060 will come down to MSRP? I think that'll be probably one of the closer ones, maybe, I don't know, 2-3 months, I'm guessing. Let's see. Which should I get, 6600 XT or 2060 Super? I would buy neither right now because it sounds like the prices are going to be terrible. Just frankly, it honestly doesn't sound good. Is 3070 good for 1080p 240 Hz? That should be plenty good for that monitor. Even at 240 Hz, it should definitely be good enough for you. Let's see. OMG says Ryzen 5 3600 for 270 Canadian or Ryzen 5 5600X for 350 Canadian. It kind of depends. If you're more on a budget, I'd definitely go for the 3600. You can always upgrade later. If you're after the highest frame rates, then I'd go for the 5600X. 5600X is a little expensive at that price, though, honestly. You might want to start looking at like Intel 10th Gen chips. If you get an Intel 10th Gen chip, you can actually overclock it and get pretty good results that way. Notorious says hashtag don't buy yet. Let's see. Can i5 10600K and 3060 run good games? Yes, absolutely. Rumors are saying that 7600 XT is coming out Q4 this year. Do you think that's about right? No, I think that's too soon. I really don't think you'll see it Q4 this year. You might see it like at best early next year, probably more realistically mid to late next year. We'll see. They might actually start like really battling each other and try and get something out first. It's entirely possible. I'd love to see that, honestly. Though you might have been asking about 6600 XT. If that was the case, that should be coming out pretty soon. Hold up, there are AMD GPU price drops. Not official price drops, just they're getting closer to their MSRP is what we're talking about. Is a 6900 XT for $1,270 a good deal? It's not a good deal. Like it's not even a good deal at $1,000. But like compared to its MSRP, if it's an AIB model, it's not like horrendous. That's 27% higher. So it's not good, but it's not horrendous. I'll leave that up to you. News about Intel GPUs. I haven't heard a whisper in a long time. People like I was getting some people telling me stuff about, like some Intel GPUs a while ago, but nothing. It's been just like all quieter in the Western Front for a while. So I hope they can compete. So Justin Vickers says these questions. Let's see. Is there a problem for my GPU to be always overclocked? Not really. I mean, it might like slightly degrade the silicon quicker, but from my experience, it hasn't really affected much. It kind of depends on what you're doing too. Let's see. Is 6900X FX Speedster for 1270? Okay, yeah, that's up to you, man. To be honest with you, that's really expensive for a video card, but that's up to you. I mean, like, if you're just gaming, I wouldn't be spending more than like, I don't know, $700-800 on a video card, period. But different people have different amounts that they're willing to pay. So I don't think it's good to be paying that much for a card, but that's up to you. I got to get a system in 2 weeks for 6900 XT or MSI 3090. Please answer. Personally, I'd go for the 3090 just because you're like getting a zero compromise experience. 6900 XT will be better at lower resolutions, but it has a few things that it doesn't do quite as well as NVIDIA. And so when you're talking similar-ish money, when you're talking about that much money, at that point, you might as well just get the one that has literally no compromises at all. Do you play VR games? No, I do not. Should I go in the ocean with road rash? What? OMG just says question. All right, and then we got Brandon Warren says, would you pair a Ryzen 5 3600 with 6800? I think that's probably like the max GPU. Like that's the absolute max I would pair with the 3600, but it should be fine. It depends on what resolution too. 1080p, probably not. 4K, it should be fine. 3600 is still a pretty good CPU. Let's see. Question: 1080 Ti versus 3060 Ti for esports, 1080p, 144 hertz. Personally, I mean, honestly, I'd go for whichever one you can get the better price to performance. But personally, I'd rather have the newer 3060 Ti. It'll be faster, and it'll just have new features. But it's like it depends on what you're doing. Should I upgrade my i5 9600K to a 9900K? That's up to you. If you feel like the CPU is not doing what you want to anymore, then yeah, go for it. That's a decent one there. Let's see. Will the RX 7000 MCM design be cheaper or more expensive than the RX 6000 monolithic design? I expect it to be significantly more expensive because the just total silicon is going to be a lot more. I don't know why, but I'm just super thirsty right now. That's why you got to stay hydrated, boys. Let me tell you. What's the point of NVIDIA mining chips? At this point, I don't really know. They're using them all for mining anyway, it seems like. I heard that NVIDIA is selling 3080 Ti and 3070 Ti without LHR. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't have any information on that. Hydrate or die. That's right, hydrate or die, gang. Let's go. Let's see. A question, is 4 gigabytes of VRAM on the RTX 3050 enough? I think at that class, it's fine. It's like the minimum you want, and if you're on a super budget, it's fine. It gets the job done. Let's see. Are AMD's GPUs also used for mining? Yeah, they are. It's just not in the same amount. My boy's living in the ocean. Let's see. Should I pay $1,200 for 3060? Absolutely not. That's outrageous. Definitely not. I think what I'm going to do here now, by the way, is let's go ahead and talk about it's time we did something, guys. Don't worry, I will get back to questions in just a second here, but I want to kind of get into this topic. So I've been talking about this for a while, and you might have noticed that like the focus of my channel has definitely been on the GPU market as well as just how unhealthy it has been of recent. It's gotten to a point for me where I'm just so sick and tired of seeing the GPU market get worse and worse every single generation that I think it's time we did something. I'm going to start reaching out to a bunch of different YouTubers. When I make videos where I talk about we need to push back on these prices, I really appreciate if you guys are able to share those videos because we really do need to get more YouTubers involved in this. The more other channels we can get involved in this push, and the more collective people we can get together saying, hey, I'm not paying these prices, the better it will be for us consumers because we do actually have a chance of making a difference. I know there's going to be some people who are going to be like, oh, well, we don't have a big enough community. To be honest with you guys, like 73,000 people is a pretty huge amount of people. Yes, there are other channels out there with like 11 million subscribers, and they may or may not ever want to jump in on that bandwagon. Maybe they just like those affiliate links, those Amazon affiliate links too much. Maybe they're making too much money off Amazon affiliate links, and the higher the prices go, the more money they make. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but maybe. So maybe they don't want to see prices go down. I'm not saying that's happening. I'm not saying that's the case, but it could be that they just don't have much of an incentive. It's possible. But if we do get all these other various channels with like 70,000, 100,000, 30,000, 200,000 all together, and we make this big coalition, we decide, hey, you know what? Spending $30,000 on a GPU is just way too much. We're killing the mid-range, and we got to do something about this. I think we do really have a chance of making a difference. Now, we're at a point here where things have gotten so bad that I've considered like the nuclear options. Now, I don't mean that in a threatening way. I mean like what are we going to do next? Should we turn to lawmakers to do something about stuff like scalping? That's something that it's a touchy subject because it's at a point where it's like, do we need to do this? Because I don't know what to do otherwise. But then at the same time, whenever laws are involved, it takes a really long time for them to take effect. It takes a lot of people doing something about it. And on top of that, it risks infringing on people's freedoms, which is something that's not good. So you have to be very careful about that. The one thing I know for sure that we can do right now without turning to something like that would be just to get as many people involved and in the know as possible and just kind of start a movement and get an attitude going in the community of, okay, hey, we've had it. I'm not paying, next generation, I'm not paying $700 for a 60 class card. That's just not happening. And we need to make it loud and clear. That means, whether it be sharing my videos, whether it be commenting, liking, whether that also be maybe AMD releases a new card and they post about it on Twitter. Don't, say anything mean or negative to them. But let them know how you feel about it. Go into those Twitter comments and tell them, hey, I'm not buying this card because, and I was thinking about doing it, but it's just way too expensive. And that's seriously a way you can have a big difference. I know it seems like one person, yelling into the ether when you're doing something like that, but trust me, guys, AMD does crawl through those comments. They are going to see some of that stuff. So it's important that we do stuff like that. And every little bit helps. So if we got, a whole community of 73,000 people, that's a lot already. On top of that, we can probably also get other channels involved. I'm going to start trying to get a hold of other channels. I know I've been talking to Paul from Not an Apple Fan, the Good Old Gamer. I'm talking to like Red Gaming Tech. I'm going to be talking to several other channels as well. I'm going to see if I can get maybe like Hardware Unboxed in on it as well. See if I can get a hold of them, because I do like have a way to get a hold of them. They're just so busy. I don't know. So I think if we get enough people involved, we really can make a big difference. But it's going to take like a lot of effort from a lot of people, because there was a lot of damage done when this whole huge mining boom got going. Stark Odinson says, get my man Linus involved. Hey, you know what? If he would talk to people who had less than 10 million subscribers, I'd love to. But he's a really busy guy, and he seems to just not respond to almost anyone. I've seen him respond to like 2 people, and you have to have like millions of subs for some reason. I don't know. If you talk to me on Twitter, I'll talk to you. I don't care how little your subscriber count is. I try and get back to everyone if I can. Let's see. Starboy Don't Care, thank you so much for the $5. He says, I was gonna buy a 3070 and I have a 2060, but I might wait for 4070. Is that a good idea? If you can get a 3070 for a good price, go for it. If you can't, if you're talking $700, $800, $900 for a 3070, then just wait. Just keep waiting until you can find it for a good price, and maybe even next generation. But keep in mind, next generation, if we don't do something right now, could get very expensive. So we got to keep that in mind, and that's why I'm talking about this right now. Because you could be talking about the 4070 costing $800. Who say why not $1,000? I mean, they were selling for $1,200. Nvidia was looking at that, so. This is really, and I've been talking about this before, this is really our last chance, guys, before a new generation comes out. Since the mining boom is dying down, I think it's not only something that we can do, but it's almost our responsibility as potential customers to let NVIDIA and AMD know when they've gone too far, and I think a lot of people would agree they've gone way too far. So what should we do? Don't buy GPUs definitely don't buy GPUs that are over their MSRP. GPUs that aren't a good MSRP, like the 3060 and 6600 XTs, sounding like it's going to be bad too. Don't buy those. Don't even buy them at their MSRP, because it's not good. This is causing so much harm to the community. We got another super chat from Butt Knuckles. Thank you so much for the $10 and a great name there. It says, appreciate your efforts. You're spot on. They see we're willing to pay these prices, so why not take the money? We're the enablers. Yes, and we got to remember, who has the power, the companies or the people? And some people might say, well, the companies have the power. That's not true. Actually, the people hold all the power. You decide what something's worth. These companies don't. So if we all decide collectively, hey, a 3060 is worth $280, it will be $280 in no time. So it's just going to take a little bit of patience, a little bit of a grit, but I think we can pull this off. We got another super chat coming in from Alexander Fleener. Thank you so much for the $5. He says, would rather hang with you than Linus anytime. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad that you would choose me. Oh, look, we got Edgy. That feels good. We also got Edgy Bloke in the chat coming in with the B meme, Bello. Epic bomedy moment there. That's true comedy. Brosum says hello from Trinidad. Awesome. Thank you so much for watching. We got another super chat coming in from Libot1. Thank you so much for the $5. He says, what do you think will happen to Ethereum with everything going on, the founder and updates? Honestly, need to read up a little bit more on that. Honestly, my expectation, and do not take this as financial advice to buy or sell Ethereum, but just my guess is that Ethereum's going to settle in somewhere between $1,100 and $1,700. I could be totally wrong, guys. I just like looking at past trends, and that's just kind of my guess. Yeah, I think that's where it's going to land. We'll see. We'll see. We got Edgy Bloke saying, be epic. All right. Justin Vicar says there's a lot of halfway decent used cards on eBay if you look. Yeah, I've noticed they're starting to drop a lot. So if you're really desperate and you need something, that might be another option if you don't want to like immediately give NVIDIA $2,000 for a graphics card. Because trust me, they don't need it. And I think this is funny because like there's literally no reason for me to tell you not to buy graphics cards, because you got to understand, if you buy graphics cards, and I have like Amazon affiliate links in my description or something, I literally will make money from that. So me telling you not to buy graphics cards right now, I'm not gaining anything by doing that. The only thing I'm gaining is we're getting a healthier GPU market. And so that's way more important to me right now than trying to get people to click on Amazon affiliate links, because frankly, it's kind of about the love of the game at this point. Like we need a healthy GPU market to have a healthy PC community. If we don't got it and we don't have a healthy PC community, it's just not as fun to build computers. So we do, before things get really bad, we need to do something. So that's why I'm pushing this really hard right now, and I'm hoping we can get some more other channels involved at this and just talk about it a lot so we can really push this home. Let's see. Oh, jeez. Let's see. Ethereum will hit an all-time high at 27,920.21. After that, it will fall about Bitcoin. It will hit 100K and will fall at the same time. Source, trust me, bro. Okay. That's a great source. r/hardware swap has some decent but still scalper prices, but not scalper prices by BNIB/lightly used GPUs. Yeah, you might want to give that a look. 1660 Super is a fantastic card, around 300-ish. That's still too much, but like, it's not horrendous. One card you might want to consider if you're really desperate is a 1063 gigabyte. The reason why is because they can't really be used for mining anymore, and so they've dropped in price significantly on eBay. They're still a little overpriced, but it's nowhere near as bad as a lot of the other models. What's the sweet spot for 1440p? What's the minimum GPU for 1440p? Thanks. For me, I feel like the sweet spot's probably 3060 Ti or 3070 or 6700 XT. I wouldn't go, like, the absolute minimum I'd do is 3060. You can definitely get a faster GP2, like you get 6800 or even 6800 XT or 3080. You'll just like never ever have to worry about turning settings down, but all those GPUs will do the job. Thomas Cervantes says a quick shout out would be appreciated. Well, there you go. Let's see. I gotta go. Have a good night, y'all. All right. Well, thank you for dropping in, Jay. Kareem Badawi says, when are the 12900K will drop? Probably closer to the end of the year. You know, originally I wasn't hearing anything too great about like the early engineering samples when people were telling me stuff about that. The newer leaks, like I haven't asked anyone about Alder Lake in a while just because I wasn't very interested. But then all of a sudden these leaks started popping up, and we're getting some wild stuff. Like really some wild numbers that seem like almost too good to be true, but it could happen. So it's possible that this 10 nanometer SuperFin has matured very well, and this new architecture, the 8 strong cores, are going to be very strong. I definitely expect it to beat Ryzen 5000 in terms of gaming. In terms of multi-core, I don't know. We'll see. We will see on that one. All right, we got a $5 super chat from Edgy Bloke. Thank you so much. And nice avatar there. Let's see, we got another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, fair ladies. They say, hey, guess I'm in the Portland, Oregon area, and I'm a custom PC builder who's starting in LLC soon. If anyone needs a build or nice monitors, DM me. All right. That's pretty cool. I may actually DM you. Well, you probably don't ship stuff, but I might get a hold of you and see. Maybe we can do something. We'll see. We'll see. Probably not. It's really hard. I know people like to do like full. Whenever people want to like show off full PC builds or stuff like that, they usually want like a whole video or something, and I'm like, well, I can check it out and maybe do an advertisement or something, but I can't do whole videos on that. That's not what this channel's for. It's not an advertising channel. That's the thing. Once you start like actually doing YouTube, people are always reaching out with like the wildest stuff they want you to show, and I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh yeah, and by the way, we're not gonna even pay you anything, and we want you to do a whole entire 10-minute video on that. I'm like, this isn't the home shopping network. This is a tech channel. No, stop. It's just wild. We got another super chat coming in from Pumpkin Peen. Thank you so much for the $5. Is it worth going from a 5700 to 6800 XT? The stock issues definitely gave me a lot more time to think on it than usual. Honestly, yeah, because you can probably flip the 5700 XT for way more than what it's worth, and then get a 6800 XT or at least a 6700 XT. You can basically get a 6700 XT for free. You have to pay a little bit for that 6800 XT. I think they're going for a lot more than they should be. But the 5700 XT is apparently really good at mining. So there's a bunch of just wild people paying crazy amounts for that. Let's see. Did anyone have a GPU that's super old like me? For a long time, I had a 760. That's getting pretty old. I actually do still have somewhere sitting around like a GT. Was it? It was like a 8000 series GPU from NVIDIA. I can't remember the exact one it was. I think it was like an 8800 Ultra or something. Something like that. Starboy Don't Care says, will a 650 watt power supply be fine for a 3070 dual? It should be fine. It depends on your other components, but in theory, that should be fine. If you're wondering, check the manufacturer's website for recommended spec. Just make the biggest one is just make sure it's a high quality power supply. Let's see. Bro, what do you think about the new upcoming 12th gen CPUs in DDR5, and are there vids coming for it? I really do want to check out this 12th gen CPU just for DDR5. I want to do some DDR5 overclocking. I think if we really tighten up those timings, DDR5 could be some like wicked fast memory, and it could allow Intel to get a lot faster. We'll see though, because I mean DDR5 is supposed to be a pretty big jump. So if you can get some good overclocks on it, just crank that voltage on that memory, it should get like really fast. I mean, you could be talking about like some 8 gigahertz memory, get it below CAS 20 if you can, maybe. I don't know if that'll be possible, but that would be fast. Any idea when 3050 desktop will come? Someone sent me something. I just got emailed, I swear to God, about that. I'd have to recheck again. I swear, I really don't remember for sure, but I think it was going to happen like in the next couple of months or something. Something like that. Maybe a little further out, but like it's going to happen somewhat soon, if I recall. All right, and then we got a super chat from Edgy Bloke. Thank you for the $5. Says, your dad's looking kind of cute. All right. Should you buy a Steam Deck if you need a decent low-end PC in 2022? Hey, if you can get one, the Steam Deck's looking awesome. It looks like it's got basically like quad-channel DDR5, so it's going to have like 88 gigabytes per second of memory bandwidth, which is pretty decent. It's going to be like faster than any other APU that exists, from what I can tell. It's got RDNA 2 in there as well. Is 650 watts good enough for 3070 Ti, even though the recommended amount is 750 watts? You could probably get away with it. I'm not gonna like recommend it. You might even be able to get away with like a 550 watt. It's certainly possible. If you are going to do it, I would recommend getting one of those wall things to plug in and check how much power you draw under like the highest load possible. Like run your CPU and GPU at super intensive tasks at the same time and just check what your wattage is and make sure that it's under the max rated. Let's see. What GPU is the Steam Deck? It's got 8 compute units of RDNA 2. I would have liked to see it with 12 compute units, but 8 will get the job done. Martin Hacks 006 says, meanwhile, me who's trying to get an average PC for 2 years and right the moment I saved enough money, this GPU shortage came in and my life basically ruined. I just wanted a 1660 Super. Yeah, that's rough. And that's what makes me pissed. Is like it's making it really hard for newcomers to build a decent PC when this stuff's happening. I tested 10700K OC plus 3070 dual CPU GPU. Stress test was under 500 watts at the wall. I'd believe it. That's why I'm guessing 650 should be fine. The only concern is sometimes there's power spikes that can occur, especially with the 30 series, where you might draw like another 100 watts beyond that or even more. But if you have a good power supply, it shouldn't be a problem. But typically, I would stick with what they recommend. But like a 3600 is pretty low power part. All right, let's see. And then we got, yay, I didn't miss it. Says there might be pancakes. Nope, didn't miss it. We're still going, baby. Question is the GTX 1650 Ti good? It's good enough. It's something that like is probably worth purchasing at a like if the price is right. It's 3660 watts. I believe it's 65 watts. 1650 Ti doesn't exist. I must be thinking of the 1650 Super. That's probably what I was thinking of because I know they have an upgraded version of the 1650. I remember the 1650. I think it was the 1650 Super was a lot better. Dirty Miner Apparel, thank you so much for the $5. He says, how does it mine? Also, that thing for your wall is called a kilowatt. I have 10 2070 founders on order, still placed in March, still not here yet. That's crazy. Yeah, kilowatt. That's what that's called. Dirty Miner Apparel. Thank you so much for the $5 again, though. Let's see. I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about. How does it mine? I'm like the 7900 XT. Probably not that great because it's gonna have like the whole Infinity Cache deal going on. So there's good news for gamers. Dirty Miner Apparel says you will see us on Gold Rush this season on Discovery Channel. Really, that's interesting. Pumpkin Peen, thank you so much for the $2. Says it's stupid that the 3060 is so pricey. Yeah, the $330 is pretty outrageous. Justin Vickar says I turned down my EVGA for the Win 3Q. Honestly, I don't blame you. That card is outrageously expensive. And then we got we got a lot coming in here. Let's see. Is i5 11600K and 3060 Ti Founders Edition good enough for streaming? I think it's good enough. It should be fine. 3900X is kind of pricey. Yeah, it kind of still is. What's your thoughts on ARM's new plastic microchips and the upcoming ADA Lovelace and AMD RX 7000 series with their high end with 15,000 cores? It's a lot of questions in one. 7000 series is looking real good. I don't know if you'll see like gaming performance at 2.5x plus like I've seen some reports of. It's possible. Realistically, maybe closer to 2x or less is what I'm kind of thinking, because even if they do the MCM design, there's going to be a lot of inherent latency by going with that design, and I think it's going to be hard to overcome. So we'll see there. The GPU from NVIDIA, probably similar, probably around 2x, maybe a little less. But either way, these are going to be some fast GPUs. It's probably going to be the biggest jump in performance we've ever seen, at least when it comes to certain tasks. Our fair ladies, thank you so much for the $10. They say, if you have the time and free tomorrow, I work a normal job, 40 plus hours, but I'm still looking to change my handle and start streaming soon. I watch yours and Paul's Leprechaun stream regularly. Yeah, I actually do. Every now and then I hop in there. I think 3 times now I've been in their, what's it called again? The Techonomics podcast. So if you aren't subscribed to them, I'd give that a subscribe as well. Also, if you're watching this for whatever reason you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. We're going for that 100K, baby. On top of that, if you are subscribed and you don't have the bell icon hit, make sure you hit that bell icon and and enable all notifications. That helps all us YouTubers big time, so that you actually have a choice of, being able to actually choose whether or not you want to watch a video rather than YouTube choosing for you, which happens all too often. Let's see. Well, just subbed. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. And by the way, if you want to get a hold of me, fair ladies, for whatever reason, you can get a hold of me via Twitter or my email. Both of those are always just in my channel description. I think it's like under About or something. So that's always, if anyone wants to like personally message me, that's basically your only option. I prefer Twitter. I tend to like check it more frequently, just because Twitter is a great way to get a hold of other YouTubers. That's why I use it. And then we got another super chat coming in from Simon Space. Thank you so much for the 10 pounds. He says, I've been holding myself back from buying a GPU from scalpers. However, my Razer Blade battery is on the brink of exploding. Which out of the 3090s would you recommend? I'm considering the Supreme X. If you are going to buy an RTX 3090, honestly, the only 3090 I would buy would be the Founders Edition. Just point blank. I don't think any of the other 3090s have that great of a cooler. There are some other ones out there that have really great boards. I'm pretty sure, I can't prove this because I don't have enough units to prove this, but I'm pretty sure the 3090 Founders Edition also has better silicon. So at the end of the day, you can spend all this money on an AIB card and you might get like 1% more performance out of the AIB card, but you're like spending an extra 100 watts to do it. So the 3090 Founders Edition is going to be the best option and probably the only one I would buy, to be honest with you. Like I have the, the Asus one. But if I was to do it again, I'd probably just get a Founders Edition. Which, by the way, I basically got that card for free through a various different methods. I always end up getting, like every single generation, I always end up like somehow getting a card for free. It always happens. I don't know how it happens, but for whatever reason, like I'll sell my 2080 Ti at the right time and then use that money to get a card that's way better. Something like that. It just always happens. If you're patient enough and you sell your cards at the right time, you can always make a really good upgrade for next to nothing. So that's my recommendation. Just have like a backup GPU sitting around and just sell your GPU when it's worth the most money and then just sit on that backup GPU. Once Graphically Challenged hits 100K, all GPUs will be readily available at their MSRP. Yep, that's true. 100% true. I can't confirm, but I will say that that's true. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, you better get subscribed. So we got another super chat coming in from Dirty Miner Apparel. Thank you so much for the $5. He says, what are your thoughts on the new Intel graphics? Always been a 3DFX and GeForce fan. Today I run RTX 2070 EVGA only in my dev. So I'm excited for Intel graphics. I think it's going to shake things up. I'm just worried that they might not be fast enough. So we'll see, because if they don't get them out in time, it's going to be rough. I think they're doing it at TSMC as well. That's a little concerning because I don't think they're going to have enough supply. But we will see what happens there. All right, Rami Gore says, I'm using Ryzen 1600 for now. Should I buy 5600X or wait for AIM 5 next year? For me, that's a really it depends type of thing. if the 1600 is doing it for you right now, just hold on to it. If you really feel that it's to upgrade and you feel like it's holding you back, then go for the 5600X. Let's see. People are complaining about someone spamming. I honestly don't know what the spam is, but if I do see it, I will put them in a timeout. I think I forgot to enable my spam filter today. Let's see. We got another super chat coming in from John York. Thank you so much for the $5. Says, what is Leo doing and when will we see Leo's lab? So for those of you who don't know, I have 2 cats. One is named Leo. He's an orange tabby. And then we got Maybelle, who's a snowshoe Siamese. She's got something not quite wired right. She runs into walls and stuff, but she's cute. The orange tabby's really smart, and he's a little stinker. You might even see him in some B-roll here and there, but I can't let him in this room because they just like walk around and like he'll rub himself against the camera and stuff and just make it all askew. So I just can't. I can't watch them, and they get their hair everywhere, which is just a nightmare to clean in this room. So I just can't let them in here, unfortunately. Snowshoe Siamese, that sounds gorgeous. Yeah, the snowshoe Siamese cats do look pretty good. Let's see. Block Marcus Wolf. I haven't even seen him once. Let's see. Thank you so much for the €5. Carol Soldia. Sorry about butchering that. Says, what is the right time to sell your GPU, bro? Please share. The right time to sell your GPU is usually either during a mining boom or when hype for the next generation is at an all-time high. However, if you don't have a good secondary card sitting around, whether it be just sitting in your closet or in a second computer that you don't really use, I don't recommend you sell it. Because if it's your only card and you sell it, you could run into a situation like the 30 series where all of a sudden you can't get a card for months. So that's why I told people don't sell your there's a bunch of people out there telling you, oh, you need to sell your 2080 Ti because it's worth a lot right now. And I did, but I didn't recommend that other people did because I had a feeling that the 30 series would be hard to get. So I didn't want to recommend people go out and just sell the only card they have. I was willing to sit on a 2060 for a long time because a 2060 is still a pretty good card for me. But some people aren't. Some people, if they had to sit on a lower or a more entry or mid-range type of card, they'd like lose their minds. So that's why I don't like tell people to sell their cards. But if you're gonna do it anyway, the best time to sell is either during a mining boom or right before the next generation, basically. Typically, like when you check eBay and you see that prices are really high, you're like, yeah, it's time to sell. And that's usually how I'm able to get like a really nice upgrade for like next to nothing. Let's see, because I'll just sit on like an older generation card for a little while. Because for me, it's like, yeah, it's a tax write-off, but I'm not trying to sit here and spend a bunch of money. Braden B says, I lost my sanity from this shortage. So did I. Let's see. Based on leaks, which is going to be better, RTX 4000 or RX 7000 series? I think they're going to be really close. I think the RX 7000 series will be faster. I think it's going to be like really close, though, like probably within 10-15%. What would you recommend for a solid 1440p gaming experience? 3060 Ti, 6700 XT, 3070. Those are all great. John Lynn says, talk to me, please. I'm wanting a 3080 Ti, and I don't know what CPU should go with it. I mean, if you're buying something that high-end, I'd just get like also a very high-end CPU, probably 5800X, maybe something like an 11900K, 10900K, something like that. Any of those CPUs that are higher core count, high IPC, those all do good. All right, maybe I'm, this might be Pancake says, maybe I'm just old or cheap or both, but I refuse to spend more than my mortgage payment on a single PC part. Yeah, that's totally fair. PC parts are getting very, very, very expensive. And we got to put a stop to that. Enough is enough. Justin Vicar says, if you can afford a 3080 Ti, definitely 5800X or a 190. I think he's probably saying 11900K. Honestly, I'd recommend the 5800X. Sharifa Downia says Ryzen or Intel. Right now, I'd say Ryzen for like max performance. If you want a good like price to performance, I'd go Intel 10th gen. When GPU stock will normalize, hopefully within the next 2-3 months, we will see. Is a 3090 worth it if it's not above $1,500? I mean, it's one of those products that will never be worth it even at its MSRP. But if you're someone who's looking at a 3090, you've already decided that you just want the best. Or maybe you do some sort of work that can actually use the 24 gigabytes. If that's the case, you're going to buy it anyway. So will AMD go for some other alternative to combat against NVIDIA DLSS that FSR still can't match up to so far? Honestly, I disagree. I think FSR does a pretty dang good job of matching DLSS. It's not quite as good, but it's so close that I don't think it really matters. Like, it's close enough that it gets the job done and it puts that argument away. There's always going to be upgrades to FSR coming. They may even use a different version of FSR in the future. But for now, I think it gets the job done and it's good enough. All right, we got another super chat coming in from Andrew N. Thank you so much for the $5 Canadian. He says, I have an AMD FirePro W9100 16GB, but over a period of time, my screen goes black and unresponsive. Should I sell it or fix it? I have a 1052GB. Fixing cards is not for the faint of heart. I would do a lot of research, maybe looking into updating drivers, checking to make sure that you have a good power supply, making sure that you also, like, there's nothing overheating on the card or anything like that. Make sure you got good airflow. But if you really can't figure anything out and it's really messing up your work, then I guess I'd have to upgrade to something, I suppose, and maybe you can sell it. But I really put a lot of time into trying to figure out if there's something you can do about that first. Preferably without, like, changing resistors on the board or re-melting solder, hopefully, because that's kind of, yeah. Should we buy a 3090 or wait for new gen? I wouldn't. I just don't recommend you buy a 3090. I think the price to performance is just way out there, to be quite honest. Is a GTX 1660 at $440 a good price? No, that's a really bad price. I think the VRAM is just overheating. If the VRAM is overheating, you will be able to hopefully check that in hardware info. If it is hitting past the TJ Max, then you can go ahead and like pull the card apart and put some new thermal pads on it. Make sure that there's a fan pointed at the GPU as well, and that should alleviate that issue. But hardware info should tell you what the average as well as max VRAM temps are if you scroll down to the GPU section. Will water cooling for GPU be the future for cooling? It's always going to be a thing. I think it's going to become more popular as GPU wattages go up for sure. What about CPU? Okay, let's see. What's a good budget airflow case? I don't know about budget right now, to be honest with you. Gamers Nexus has some really good ones on that. So I'd go for him. I think he just made a good video on that. Should you buy an Intel CPU without a dedicated GPU? I mean, the current situation isn't so good. So what's your opinion on this? Frankly, guys, Intel integrated just isn't, you're not going to like the gaming experience you get. It's not even as good as like the most entry-level cards. It's not even close from what I've seen in the recent past. So I wouldn't do that unless you're playing like only the most easy to run games. IQ Trilogy says, I was thinking of getting a 3090 because I want to stream and play competitively, so I'm not sure what I should get. That depends on what you're doing. Anything from like a 3070 to a 3090 should probably be fine for you. It depends on what kind of frame rate you're going for. I'd probably, if I was going to be streaming, I'd be going for like a 3080, 3070 minimum. But it really depends on what you're doing. You could probably even get away with like a 3060. But the 3060 price is just stupid. So probably 3070, 3080. Depends on your resolution, though. Do you think Intel 12th Gen will hit near the end of the year? Yes. It will hit near the end of the year. Or I'm going to be shocked. Like, that would really shock me from everything I've heard. Do you think 3060 Ti's will be in stock in December? Honestly, I don't know. The 3060 Ti and 3080 are going to be, I think, really hard to get for a long time. By the way, if you have any pressing questions to get in, I think since I started this one a little bit later than I was originally planning tonight, because I do remember people were saying instead of 10 o'clock, they wanted to do 9 o'clock, and I started at 9:45 this time, so next time we'll start at 9. But since I did start a little bit later than usual, I think we're going to do just an hour this time. I typically like to do somewhere between 1 and 2 hours. So what that means is you got about 5 minutes. So if you have some like really important question you want to ask, now would be the time, and I'll try my best to get back to you while this chat is just flying by. Let's see. Do you ever pull a muscle or sprain anything during intros? One time I did, a long time ago. Jonah Johnson says, hi, I'm trying to build my first PC. My budget is $900. What GPU and CPU should I get? I wouldn't build a PC right now. I know that's going to suck to hear, but I genuinely would wait. It's just a really bad time to build a PC. So unless you absolutely need to, I just wouldn't do it. Like we're close to, you should be able to get some decent prices soon, but I would just wait. AMD's new socket motherboard by, I think, the Best Buy. I don't even know what you're talking about there. RX 6700 versus 3060 Ti price to performance. I think the 6700 is going to be overpriced, to be honest with you. Anyone know where I can get a 1660 Super for a decent cheap? Helping my friend with his first build. That's hard to say. It's almost 1 a.m. in Florida. Jeez, you're up late, Laybot one. Thank you so much for the 40 Mahir Veer. He says sheesh. Is that new meme the kids are doing? But I feel so old. All the kids are doing this now. They're going sheesh, and I'm like, what does that even mean? Are you like putting something in your vein there? Like what? I feel so old, guys. You got to explain this to me. I'm not even that old yet. What's the sheesh meme? What does it even mean? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I feel so old. The B meme is definitely worse, though. My friends and we've been just like putting B in front of words. It's just like the lowest brow, most horrible comedy. It's not even comedy. It's just bad. And for some reason, every once in a while, we just laugh. And it's just it's so dumb. It's so like, it can't get any worse. The B meme. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. It doesn't get any worse. What GPU should I get for i7-920? Don't. Don't do that. The i7-920 had a good run, but that's a little old at this point. Thank you so much for the super chat, Felix Fortuna. Thank you for the $5. He says, would the 5700G/5600G be the best gaming chip if I need to build a gaming PC right now, considering the GPU shortage? That might actually be one of your best options because the integrated on there should be okay. So if you overclock the bejesus out of it and get some good memory and really overclock that memory and tighten the timings and do everything you can, you should be able to get an okay experience out of it. I would not do anything less than that. Bro, do your crazy intro live now? Sure. There you go. Let's see. I have a Ryzen 5 2600, and I was wondering if I paired it with a 3060, if there's any major bottlenecks. You should be fine. i7-920 start over. If you can't, then GTX 750 Ti. Yeah, like I'd be looking around. If you really can't build a new computer, get something like really entry level, because otherwise you're gonna be wasting your money. That's the problem. Ninworm says, bro, I love this channel. Well, thank you so much. Let's see. What is the F thing ending in Intel chips? It means that it doesn't have integrated graphics. Question, do you think AMD will improve compute performance when they switch to RDNA? They kind of bork the compute performance. Do you think this will improve over RDNA 3? RDNA 3 should have better IPC in theory. You're so weird. I love it. Well, thank you so much. By the way, guys, the way the B meme works, this is so lowbrow and stupid, but I'll explain to you. Because I see some confusion, and we can't have that. For example, here's a guy in the chat named Dubry Cooper. You'd say Dubry Booper. See, I'd say I'm laughing, but it's the dumbest. It's seriously, it's like the most lowbrow, lowest common denominator, awful, just stupid joke you could possibly make. And I think that's why, like, it makes me laugh sometimes. Like, it's just terrible. It's so bad. But now you know. Now you know about the B meme. Everyone knows now. Let's see. Mr. Bean levels of corny. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just really it's really stupid. It's like you're almost ashamed, but but then you still laugh. Let's see. I'm now Dubry Booper. Dubry Boober. Do you like jazz? It's all right. How many years will it take for most people who are on Windows 11? It's probably going to take a long time. Is it even worth the jump to it? Only if you want auto HDR, basically. I petitioned to change the channel name to Be Graphically Challenged. No, that's not how it works. It would be like graphically balanced or something. Like that's how it works. It's just it's even dumber than you think. Like just like think like you're the dumbest child you could possibly think of. And yep, there you go. You got it, OMG. There you go. And then just make it dumber. Like, why? Because we can. That's why. How are babies made? Well, they get delivered from the sky. That's how they're made. Would you sell your soul for $30.90 in this economy? No. Let's see, should I keep an AMD 6900 XT or 3080 EVGA XT3 with the hybrid cooler? I would like to give one of them to a friend. I think it depends on what you do. If you do any sort of content creation, I'd go with the 3080. If you prefer like super high refresh rate at 1080p or 1440p, I'd absolutely keep the 6900 XT. Babies shipped by Newegg with no returns. Oh man, yeah. Can you say EA Sports in the... Okay. EA Sports. It's in the game. Or you could say BA Sports. All right, I got to stop. This is such a dumb... It's EA Sports. All right, I like that one where it's like EEE. EEE. Boobag. See what I've started now? Like, it's just so dumb. Yeah. BA Sports. I can't even do it right, like as good right now because I'm just like really parched. EEE. EEE. See, I'm parched right now, so it's hard. Will I find love? Sorry, no. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I hope so. BB boards. It's been a bame. Yeah, I've started something horrible. This is so dumb. Now you won't be able to stop though. Like you're gonna think, oh, this is so dumb, but then you're gonna be like thinking about putting bees in front of stuff. It's really toxic, and it spreads like wildfire. Oh, you're really parched. Well, have you heard of our sponsor, G Fuel? Woo! Yeah, I've not been sponsored by G Fuel. B B B B B B. Bintel or BMD. It's infectious, B Fuel. I'm telling you, it really is infectious. It's gonna ruin your life. Now that I've introduced you to it, the B meme will absolutely ruin your life. Oh yeah, that's a good tune you got there for figuring out how babies are made. What are your thoughts on Aorus RTX cards? They have huge coolers, but I haven't heard anything like amazing about them. They look cool though, I'll tell you that much. GPUs are expensive. By the way, guys, we are past our time, so I'm going to answer a couple more questions here, then we go ahead and just wrap this up. So, shoot off your last big questions here, and I'll get to them. So your name, the channel is graphically balanced. See, that's how you have to do the B too, like with that stupid emoji B. It makes it like just extra dumb. Any bottlenecks with Ryzen 3600, RTX 3060? You should be fine. Is it worth stepping up to 3080 or just stick with 3070 Ti? It depends on what you do. 4K, yes. 1440p, probably not. And I'll answer one more question here, and then we'll wrap this up. I'm currently running an i5 3570 in a 1063 gigabyte. What upgrades would you recommend? Right now, definitely CPU, just because not only will you get a big upgrade in terms of your performance in the long term, but you can actually get a CPU for a decent price, whereas you cannot with the GPU. So I think that'll be probably the best thing you can do right now. But in any case, thank you everyone so much for watching. I think we had a really great stream here. Thank you for all the comments as well as all the super chats. Every super chat helps a ton. Thank you everyone so much for that. Again, if you did do a super chat, just reach out to me after the show. I'll get you a link to that that private Discord we have for the channel. But in any case, thank you everyone so much for watching once again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.